Hey, lucky you, the problem solvers are here to solve your problem. Tell me about your missing child. Pretty, please. You seem to... Oh. That's a bear skin. I thought she was standing in a hole. Because like there's a shadow on every side except the front side. So it looked like it was just like a crater, and I'm like, are you okay? Not much in the way of floors in these houses. Hey, you hear about my boy? A quiet, motionless shape is swaddled beneath filthy rags and moth-eaten towels. Is it alive? A pale green fuzz has colonized one of the loaves. Okay. Yeah, it's a rough condition. The woman looks like she hasn't slept in days. Her hair is a rat's nest of tangles and her eyes are lined with shadows. She casts an anxious glance at the door. Her eyes widen, somewhere between hope and apprehension. Are you here about Darren? Calm down and start at the beginning. It's my son. His father, Wade, took him fishing 2 days ago, and I haven't seen them since. The neighbors are no help, and the city watch hardly bothers with the gift these days. I'd be out on the docks and looking myself, but I can't leave the baby. Her eyes wander to the crib, and she lowers her voice. I don't dare take a hollowborn out, what with the violence near the brothel. I feel her misery, her pain. Her mind brims with it. You have a hollowborn baby? The answer is etched plainly in her face. Wildwin's legacy is as potent in Defiance Bay as anywhere. People are scared, and they're looking for someone to blame. Whether it's those women at the brothel or the families of these poor babes. So much misplaced blame. So much hurt heaped on hurt. She sighs and watches the motionless cradle. I don't approve of what goes on at Maya's place, but these attacks won't earn us the god's mercy, and it's only made it harder to earn a living. Tell me more about their disappearance. What do you want to know? Tell me about Darren. The ghost of a smile flickers across her lips. He's a brave lad, if a little too bold for his own good. But he's always been a dutiful son and a gentle brother. He's got dark hair, quick eyes, and a ready smile. When you find him, you'll recognize him in a heartbeat, I'm sure of it. Tell me about Wade. She scowls and brushes a greasy strand of hair from her face. Sometimes I don't know whether to rejoice or rue that he comes home as often as he does. He spends most of his time, and all of our money, drinking at the brothel. Has ever since. Her gaze returns to the silent cradle. Where did you see them last? Wade was taking Darren fishing at the docks. That was 2 days ago. I'll be back if I find anything. Ada closes her tired eyes, likely for the first time in 2 days. I don't know how to thank you. I don't have much to spare these days, but Ondra blesses you for anything you can do. Brave Darren. They have a hollowborn baby. So it is alive, if you can call it that. It's biologically alive. I don't know, maybe in the course of this campaign we'll find a cure for hollowborn and then that baby will wake up.
Huh?
Its hollowborn is so heavily brought up that's clearly going to be a central theme of some sort. That's core to this entire game. I guess we're just going to want to go explore the docks. Time to poke around. And just thoroughly just go up and down every little chunk of this area. But I doubt they're still there 2 days later. Some payday this turned into. Imatil. Cartugo. Actually, a lot of characters around here. Right, the Valiant Trading Company. Right. I keep forgetting about that that inclusion. So there's her house, the trading company, and then the lighthouse. I'm definitely not done yet. Ooh.
Place gets my blood beating in all the right places.
So many spirits, yet so few awakened.
Look at all this Adra here. Makes this place look pretty neat. Our ship's been dry for months. I could use a drink stiff enough to wake a dead man. It's always bittersweet sailing from home, but seeing exotic locations is a decent enough trade-off. The hell of a dock area. The captain won't be happy to hear about this. Marcino. This young, lanky sailor is wringing his cap anxiously, sweat beading on his furrowed brow. His eyes widen as you approach, and he takes a few steps forward.
Hail and well met.
If you've got a moment, you're not from around here, right? You don't look like you're from the docks. He looks around nervously. I could use your help. Any chances you've seen a little boy named Darren? Huh? Oh, sure. He wanted to play on the ship, but I couldn't let him. Fortinaro's very strict about that sort of thing. I had to shoo him off. Felt a bit bad about it. Saw him heading towards the salty mast. Not really somewhere he ought to be playing. Hope you find him. What makes you think I'm not from around here? Gut feeling. The sailor grins weakly. I really could use your help, though. What's the problem? Oh, thank you. They weren't lying, saying you're a kind-hearted sort. He runs a hand through his hair nervously. It's the captain. Or rather, not the captain himself, but his chest. His sea chest. He keeps all his valuables in there, tucked away safe. I was unloading it with the rest of the things. What with us staying in port a couple days, and... He coughs. I may have gotten a little distracted. Marceno nods towards the buildings nearby. I wasn't gone long, just an hour to at the salty mast. He got distracted. He was unloading and then he left for an hour. When I got back, the chest was gone. He sets a pleading look at you. It really hasn't been that long. Whoever took it can't be too far, but the shift's changed and I'm on watch. I can't sneak off to look for it, and the captain will kill me if he hears of it. I'll get strung up on the yardarm. The yardarm. I have no idea what that is. Please, if you could get it back from me, I swear by the flame, I'll make it worth your while. You can have my pay. I won't be spending it if Captain Fortinero finds out anyway. Any idea where the thieves might have taken the chest? Well, the chest itself is pretty heavy. Nobody I've asked has seen it getting carried around either. I figure they must have snuck it off somewhere nearby, just out of sight. They can't have gone far. There's a pretty good lock on it, too, so I'm hoping they haven't gotten it open. Unless they take an axe to it, I suppose. Oh, gods. He takes a breath. If they've got it open, I really am done for. You're a sailor? Yes, sir. I signed on about a half year back. The pay is decent, and the sight of the sun coming up over the sea. I wouldn't give that up for anything, he sighs. I just wish I'd asked about the captain first. Brave Darren. He seems to have gone to the salty mast. Oh yeah, we're totally going to the lighthouse. If it's super heavy and nobody's seen it carried around, then it seems like we have context for the lighthouse now. These docks are beautiful. Oh, and tragic. Those are sunken buildings flooded, and the docks just then built right over them. But the mix
Beware
with...
the dead, like walking hollowborn.
Oh. Okay, this tower screams. Isn't that interesting? Oh. I don't have the key to the lighthouse. Yeah, well, the lighthouse screams at me, so... yeah. I'm figuring it's probably not that, yeah. Now hiring builders. No experience needed.
Good day, stranger.
As you approach, she eagerly turns to you. You interested in doing some construction work? Her clothes are simple, but nicer than most you've seen in Ondra's Gift. Pays good money. Have you seen someone named Darren? Nia taps her chin. The name doesn't ring a bell. If you find him, ask if he's interested in doing some construction. We're looking for a child, ma'am. I take it you're having trouble finding workers. Workers who aren't superstitious cowards anyway. She shakes her head. I offer good coin, but as soon as I tell them about the job, they say an oath to the Lady of Lament and spit over the dock. They all think the lighthouse is haunted ever since the floods of Ondra's Gift. It did just scream at me. Zagani looks up at the tower. I suppose that's one downside to these big city buildings. No spirit ever haunted a hut on the tundra. Ondra's Gift was flooded? Yeah, you can't tell. Our character has to say things in the dumbest way possible, but I want the background. Back at the end of the War of Defiance, it was one of the finishing blows to the Adirian military. Cost us a lot, though. The whole district was supposed to be evacuated, but not everyone left in time. The Adirians put anyone they found to the sword. The lucky ones who escaped the slaughter drowned hours later when Hadrit's forces broke the dams. Locals say the lighthouse keeper was one of the people who stayed behind, and one of the last to die. She shrugs. I don't know why that makes that lighthouse any more haunted than the rest of the gifts, but there you have it. Have you gone inside? Who, me? She laughs nervously. Not exactly. See, my health is rather delicate, and all that dust. She sighs. All right. When I saw two Amawa deckhands running as fast as they could down the pier, I lost my nerve too. I could take a look. Good. About time someone put an end to this foolishness. She rummages in her pocket and pulls out a skeleton key. As she hands it to you, she hesitates. Just be careful. Not that I believe in ghost stories, but it is an old building, so watch your step. I have some questions. Nia nods. What do you want to know? Do you know what might be inside the lighthouse? If only. Nia shrugs. It's been uninhabited since they flooded Ondra's Gift. What are you building? An inn, allegedly. She brushes a single loose strand out of her bun behind her ear. The gift needs a spot with a little more class than the salty mast. This district has been in the dumps since the War of Defiance. It seemed ready for some of the fresh development. So imagine my excitement when I find this place 3 floors tall and right on the water, for sale at a reasonable price. The seller suggested that there were other interested buyers, so I closed the deal before I'd taken time to really look into it. Stupid. She shakes her head. Being from New Haomar, I knew about the floods, but I didn't know about the superstitions surrounding the lighthouse, and the seller was long gone by the time I found out. At this point, it'll be a miracle from the Lady of Lament herself if I can make my investment back. You're not from Defiance Bay, are you? She laughs bitterly. What gave it away? The accent or the fact that I was the dupe who paid good coin for this place? I'm from New Haomar, on the northern coast. It's smaller than Defiance Bay, so I came here hoping for some fresh opportunities, and maybe the chance to do a little good in this neighborhood. Yep. We're gonna get sidetracked a lot, but let's go for it. Because now I now have not one but 2 quests that are just like, I don't know, look around, find them. And so those are the types of quests that lead to you finding all the other quests in said region. Similar to when we were in Deerwood, and they're like, there's someone missing, look for her. And then I ended up finding all the other quests first, basically. Quick save, and time to go ghost hunting right after I upgrade Durance, because he's my priest, and we're gonna go fight a ghost, probably. Seems like an obvious connection to make. I still think I'd like having him specialize in both stealth and mechanics, because then he can be the guy that can actually potentially use the mechanics while also stealthing when that's necessary. Ah. Little did I know, or I should have known, honestly, that leveling him up was going to be really easy, because these kinds of spellcasters don't work that way. These kinds of spellcasters, you just get the whole next tier all at once. No learning specific things. Barring Death's Door prevents a severely wounded character's health from reaching 0 when it would result in the death of the character. The character can still be knocked out through endurance loss. Oh, it only stops their health from reaching 0, not their endurance. Devotions for the Faithful. Invokes the benediction of the priest's god, imbuing allies with the area effect with accuracy and might bonuses, while the enemies receive penalties to the same. That's like a combination. I think I have those effects to some extent for both friendly casting and offensive casting. But they're separated, I think, into separate spells, both for the effect and the target. So this has the effect for both allies and enemies. Ooh, +4 might for allies, +20 accuracy, -10 might for enemies, -20 accuracy. Prayer Against Bewilderment bestows alacrity upon the minds of allies in the area of effect, granting immunity to the confused and dazed afflictions. Litany Against Minor Afflictions grants a single ally temporary immunity to the blinded, confused, dazed, distracted, frightened, hobbled, prone, sickened, and stuck afflictions. I think what's funny to me is that, like, we have mental or physical impairment, mental impairment, mental impairment, mental impairment, mental impairment, physical impairment, getting knocked over, homeostatic impairment, and a physical, like stuck is like you can physically affixed to a location. So like in the middle of this giant list of special afflictions, you could see them being defended against with magic. One of them is just, oh, he fell over. Oh, poor boy. Like it's just it just looks strange when it's included with the other ones. Restore major endurance. 2.13 meter radius. Only 42 endurance. It feels low still. Some of my people have 164 endurance. Like that's... You're my caster, and this is a level 4 spell. I feel like he's not keeping up. Searing Seal. Places a magical seal on the floor that bursts into flame when an enemy comes into contact with it, blinding them and inflicting burn damage. Shining Beacon. Conjures an intensely luminous beacon of light, causing enemies in the area to affect... And in the area of effect to take a penalty to all defenses and accrue burn damage over time. That's a decent chunk of burn damage, very slowly. Triumph of the Crusaders. Imparts to allies the fervor of righteousness in battle. When an ally in the area of effect delivers a killing blow, he or she regains endurance. Whoa. Fourth level spell, speed average, range 10 meters, area effect, that much. 224 endurance per kill. Range? I'm rereading it over and over again. As far as I can tell, they seem to have forgotten to explain the fact They've like forgotten to explain the duration of this spell. It doesn't say a duration anywhere. Unless it's an aura that you toggle, but it's a 2 spells per day kind of thing. You can only use it during combat. Maybe you cast it on an area and it just stays on that spot for the rest of the fight. Maybe that's the implication. Just would be worth pointing out if that's how it works. 'Cause that's unusual somewhat. But that is a proper heal. But it's a heal you have to work for. Whenever somebody gets a killing blow, boom, full health, no matter who they are. Well, full endurance. Nobody even has that much. Throwing that down could certainly help things. Although once the enemies start dying, that's usually when the fight's already turning around. Anybody around?
Something here calls to me.
Major regeneration. And some of the usual. A patina of filth and dead barnacles reaches almost to the ceiling. Gross. The glass is completely opaque with grime and salt. There's glass? Oh yeah, there's a window there. I'm surprised barnacles are on the inside of the building.
Nothing is closed to the perceptive mind. What you ask is done.
There's the next floor, I suppose. Oh, jeez. Yo, turns out the ghosts are real. And there's a lot of ghosts. There's many, many ghosts. Too many ghosts. God damn. Okay, that's... How's that for a jump scare, I guess? Don't run that way. Please don't run that way. Oh god. Okay. One of them's down at least. They're probably not super strong, they're just shades, but that's more than I've ever seen. And the specters should be tougher. And they're spirits, not vessels, so I can't just attack them with my cool giant AoE. So let's try to position a little better, and here you go, everybody. Alright. Didn't quite affect me as much as I would hope. Okay. They seem especially focused on endurance. Have you two focus on this guy. Try to get the attention here. You seem to be sneaking past me, and I don't appreciate that. Oh, that didn't work. Nope, they're just all running for it now. Yep, this is more or less the intended use for what I was hoping for. I can at least try to help the incoming damage. Howdy, y'all. Oh, they didn't like that. That took them right out. There you go. Huh. I don't appreciate that kind of behavior. Alright. Well, I can see why everyone ran away. Turns out there are totally ghosts here. Quite haunted. Oh. Small rain blight, 2 rain blights, and a greater rain blight. Okay. Get him. We got this. I'm not sure how dangerous a rain blight is yet, so I'm just gonna kind of feel this one out for a bit. Can they even be dazed? Yes, they can. Nope, they're immune. Disease, ground, hobbled, poison, prone, stuck, sick, and struck. But I want them to be dazed. Why are they immune to daze? Doesn't say that they are.
shot with this.
Maybe the issue is more that spirits are immune to that. Oh, maybe they're immune to the attacks. Oh. Maybe days worked. And it was just a coincidence that when I was looking to see the effectiveness of days, a bunch of immunities popped up because everything maybe does that. Ooh, that's a lot. Wow. That's 10 primal water.
Sure.
That's the primal elemental items are what you need in order to get those 25% enchantments on your items. The burlap sack has all but rotted away. Speaking of which, yeah, you've got burn, you've got crush. Still somewhat have to figure out whether I want to commit to you being melee or ranged. Hmm. 4 out of 10. No additional progress yet. Enchantment? This already has burn on it. Enchantment. Kith is always the expensive one. Never super sure which direction to go with that stuff. I guess just being diverse might help. But I think you might also be able to somewhat strategize over which ones you think are going to be the most common problems. Howdy, y'all! Oh, there's more coming. Oh, they just keep coming. Okay, you need to help out here because they are definitely getting on her. That's not a good situation for us. Thankfully, I think she can reduce the number of bad things. Okay, nope, bigger ones are coming in. But they have mental scores. Yeah, I don't have a great chance of success with these ones, so I should maybe control one of the other ones. There we go. That significantly reduced how many are on them at the moment, but they're spreading about, causing problems for me. Somewhat uncertain about how effective I expect lightning spells to be against spirits, or druid spells in general. Lightning spells not so much. I think this will work fine, but a lot of his spells are kind of physical and natural, and I don't know. I guess we are kind of fighting them with swords, so there is that element. Endurance is going down, but then this happens. There we go. Now there's way fewer problems. Let's get that heal spell down. Alright, paralysis does not last forever. We need at least some attempt to focus fire here. Preferably whatever Durance is fighting at the moment. Except not you. You need to stay here because you're already engaged. Okay. Attempts at tanking have kind of fallen apart, haven't they? Fine. Oop. He's totally gonna go down, isn't he? Explosive death. That's not helpful. Uh-oh. That raises some issues about fighting this kind of unit. Oh boy. How's everyone feeling at this moment? Let's just try to heal you. You're in the worst spot right now. And here it comes.
Yeah.
All right, they're getting more dangerous each floor. May want to invest more heavily in spellcasts. Yellowed fading maps of the bay around Undra's gift show routes through the locks between the dikes that hold the ocean back. Okay, yeah, the party is pretty banged up right now. Let's just, you know, camp for 8 hours in the haunted house. No potential consequences there, right? Ha 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 ha.
I shall do as you ask. What you ask is done.
That's just the next floor. Soon. Gotta keep looking around. The compounds and fluids in these bottles have separated into distinct layers. Selected correspondence of the gift bringer Aiden. Evacuation notice and the tower key. It's a quest item, isn't it? The notice is stiff with age and salt. Adherent reinforcements advancing. Immediate evacuation of Andra's gift by order of Duke Hadrit. They did receive the notice, but they seem to have stuck around. Carved into the post is the name Merewith, and a series of notches labeled with numbers. The lowest notch reads 4, the highest notch reads 17. So Merewith grew up in this lighthouse. It has their height at different ages. Some people get so attached to a location they can't imagine moving on. I feel like I keep seeing ghosts and specters and wraiths and whatnot that are named Lilith. Shrieking sobs pierce your ears and rattle the musty rafters of the lighthouse. They emanate from the spectral figure of a woman hovering in the middle of the room. Each heave of her shoulders unleashes another hair-raising wail. Attack the Cane Guilla. Guess I have a name for it. Get closer. Or back away? No, I think back away just means leave. As you approach, the spirit's cries take on a threatening edge. The swirling mist around its legs ripples with movement. The black pits of its eyes level momentarily with yours. Back away. Yeah, that just means not doing anything. Can I find anything here? Logbook.
I shall do as you ask. What you ask is done.
Jack of Wide Waters. 8 DR. Exceptional. +2 survival. Neat. Kakuma was a famed Omawa swashbuckler and the original wearer of this garment. She sailed from her homeland of Rauatai to the infamous Deadfire Archipelago. There, they escorted merchant and passenger ships through pirate-infested waters. Among her most frequent clients were the Nasataki dwarves, who ventured to the continents to the north on both personal and tribal sojourns. Her fair dealings, bravery in combat, and skill at sea made Kakuma a loved and respected figure in the archipelago and among the Nasataki. Yeah, yours has intellect and lore. But DR is nice. Perhaps not the worst to just kind of speed her up a bit. Okay, that's quite the change in appearance. I need to fix this. Looks like a nightmare. This color just doesn't show up anywhere. Alright, that's better. She's just so bright blue that having the green cap looks bizarre. Who did I give it to? Oh, it's a quest item, isn't it? Logbook. The logbook expels a thick plume of dust. 6 Onauton 2672. Foggy. Port full. 158 days since sighting of the Red Dream. 6 days later. Heavy rain. 2 fishing boats lost at sea. 164 days since sighting the Red Dream. 1 Tarao Town. Dark clouds. A deer and ships on horizon. 173 days since sighting the Red Dream. What is the Red Dream? There's a significant emphasis given to that. The last lighthouse keeper kept a log seemingly in the final days of the War of Defiance. This person was also tracking the appearance of a ship called the Red Dream. Nia might know more about it. Deal with the Kianguola. A banshee, or what the locals refer to as Cianguola, wails and screams from the 3rd floor of the White House. It hasn't attacked me yet, but I'll need to get rid of it one way or another before the tower is safe for Nia's workers. Maybe you can banish it, or set it free or something. Adameth Hadrit Part 2. I can't remember. Rebellion. Friendly aura. 5 meters. +1 stealth, +3 perception. Lilith's shawl. This cloak feels so light, it's easy to forget you're wearing it. The unmistakable scent of sea breeze, cool and salty, wafts from the fabric. Though moth-eaten and ragged around the edges, it keeps the chill at bay. Its faded colors seem to blend in with its surroundings. He found this in the lighthouse of Ondra's gift. The tower had been uninhabited for a century and a half, and its last occupant, the lighthouse keeper, supposedly died there when the Adirans invaded. It was rumored that her spirit haunted the tower still, watching for ships on the horizon. Maybe if I bring up the red dream, that might be the way to communicate with her. The spirit's screaming grows louder and louder. Its sunken face distorts, twisting into a long, gaping mouth filled with jagged teeth. If anything were able to quell the spirit's rage, it would appear not to be you. Okay. What's your cape do? Disengagement. I just like the idea of this aura here. +1 stealth, +3 perception. Friendly aura. How many people are being affected by it?
Ready, Watcher.
Suppressed. Oh my god. I think that's referring to the idea that stuff doesn't stack between different items. If I take this off, will the aura then come out? Wow. So it's actually removed from everybody the moment I have a stronger source of stealth on my other slot. Ah. It's just one stealth. The perception's built in. Intellect and resolve. I do want that. But I also have that too, the necklace. A lot of stuff fighting over one spot potentially. Because that bonus to perception could be nice. Two stealth, one perception. This might be better than both items combined for her. That +3 perception for somebody like her. Perception 20. Ooh. +30 interrupt, +10 accuracy, and 20 reflex. 10 accuracy, 20 reflex. I mean, he doesn't have slots yet, so I might as well throw them on him. Looks a little strange with that chest piece. Alright, let's humor them. We could just attack her, but I'm curious to see if this can be resolved. They have this log about the red dream. My concern here is it said to check to see if she knows about it, but she isn't a local. Although I guess it's also like 150 years ago, so does anyone remember that kind of detail? It's been so long. Nia might know more about it. Yep. As one might expect, she's probably not here during the nighttime. Well, let's check the ramshackle house, which I don't know. I wouldn't think would be where the chest is, because they were doing something else.
How do you do?
Someone almost certainly stole the chest to somewhere nearby. So how many options are there, really? You can't access the beach or anything like that. Ah, Bragan and a bunch of thugs. Shove off, we've got nothing to talk about. Okay. Interesting for you to say that. It's not labeled as a milestone, as a landmark, but I can go in. Brian Walker and Vril. No real NPCs here. The bed is stiff as a plank. The worn, grimy blankets feel as if they'd come apart in the wash. A dozen tiny somethings squirm within the rest of the rice. Where are you hiding? The box. But also, maybe I don't... Oopsie. No!
Grab a couple pints before you get me going on that one.
No complaints here.
You fought for the Deerwood in the Saints' War? We'd better grab a couple pints before you get me going on that one. So I just want to navigate. I'm just trying to deal with my navigation issues, and you're like, surprise dialogue! Let's see. That's not a real person. It's courtesan. Refugee. Courtesan. Believe it or not, y'all, I'm interested in your beds. And I just mean your beds. I just want it to be daytime because my NPC has vanished.
Gods keep you.
They've got to earn their ale money somehow. What? I can hire them as adventurers? That's funny. You ready for a different life? I'm not sure if they would be. I just want to be here till the morning. And I don't feel like going to Brackenbury and the... Strangely, yeah, this place seems safer to hang out in because the other one seems to be full of thieves. Seems like a not great choice. NPCs with gold nameplates were designed by our backers. Interacting with them will allow you to experience each one's unique history. So it is just explained eventually.
Sure.
Shit, she's just gone. Where did she go to? Did I miss that detail? Nia might know more about it. shit. Alright. I'll maybe review the footage or something to see if she mentioned where she was going. Because she's just not... Is it about to be nighttime already? I only slept for 8 hours, I thought. Huh. Yeah, she unfortunately does not appear to be here. Oh. This is a funny mistake. She had moved to right here. Well.
Hello.
So, have you figured out what all the fuss is about? Have you heard of the Red Dream? Who hasn't? That ship's been running raids for decades now. Used to stop in New Haemor laden with spoils from Rauatai traders. These days, I hear she spends most of her time prowling the Deadfire Archipelago. Nia points to a ship anchored in the distance. That's her. When she's at port, her captain, an elf named Merwith, takes her shore leave over at the Charred Barrel in Brackenbury. Believe it or not, she likes her creature comforts. She shakes her head. That's what I'm talking about. When a pirate won't even set foot in the tavern on this side of town, it's high time for a new establishment. One of many cases where a character that was established earlier has a actual payoff eventually. Yeah, when you just see named characters that don't seem to have anything to do, that's usually meaning that you're kind of encountering them out of order. I was trying to remember why that name was familiar because I knew Merwith. I was pretty sure I'd encountered Merwith specifically like within the last like few hours, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't place the name exactly, and it's because that's where that pirate grew up. Was right there in that lighthouse. Messengers from the Gilded Vale bring shocking news. Lord Radric VII, Lord Thane of the Deerwood, has been slain. He is succeeded by Kolsk, last surviving relative of the Radric line. Can't wait to find out why that was a bad idea.
Sure.
Here we go. I think I found Merwith and her crew upstairs. She was the one that I was talking about how like just almost distressingly open she was about her illicit nature. It is funny that yeah, she lands in the dock area and then goes right past the inn that's there to move on to a different place. Someone at the old lighthouse in Andra's gift was looking for your ship. There's pain in her mind, Watcher. The pain of a child's abandonment. It never goes away. I didn't peg you for a liar. At least not from what I've heard. She looks you over, narrowing her eyes. But that don't mean I believe you. She leans in, her voice a low hiss. You'd better explain what gave you such an interesting notion. The last lighthouse keeper watched for your ship every day. It's all in the log. No. Her snarl flashes a gold tooth. She turned me out. We were poorer than the fishermen who live there now, and when she learned I'd put food on our table with stolen coin, she told me that if she never saw me again, it'd be the mercy of the gods. Her darkened eyes are filled with rage. I had nowhere else to go. It was a rough life until I rose to captain. She ignored the Adir in advance to stay behind. I think she was waiting for you. She turns her eyes away. She was always so stubborn. I forget sometimes where I got it. She gulps down the rest of her wine. I'll go. Perhaps it'll give us both some peace.
Huh?
There we go. Hey, that worked out. Now when I hear that tick on the loading screens, I'm starting to wonder if like maybe the loading screens are supposed to be playing music. Did they used to play music? Oh look, music. Wait, is that what? Wait, literally as I said that, as if I had solved the riddle and it manifested in reality, it started playing music instead of just ticking noises. Strange. There's Cyril. You should have seen the looks on those nobles' faces when I moved in. There she is, onto her new life. That's good to see. There's just some characters I'm less happy about the status of. Like the bear murderers. The ones that used a bear for murder, not the ones that murdered bears. Which isn't so much a thing that I've had to worry about. It's fast mode, yet somehow not fast enough. Just because when you're making a round trip to the bar, you're like, alright, there's the loading screen to go downstairs in the bar, the loading screen to leave the bar, the loading screen to leave there to go to Andre's Gift, then the loading screen to enter the lighthouse, then the loading screen to enter the second floor of the lighthouse, then the loading screen to get to the third floor of the lighthouse, and then we can then get back to the quest I was doing. That's the process as in this situation. Maybe next session the weird bug will be gone, because I don't remember it being there before. Can't remember for sure whether or not loading screens used to have music or not. But yeah, every loading screen goes. Oh well. Oh. Nope, it's just resolved. Well, we're just supposed to go talk to Nia. I thought there might be some kind of confrontation. But I think we're just going to hear about it from Nia, as opposed to witness it. Sounds like they were taken aback and betrayed by what their daughter did, and ostracized her, but it was kind of a fit of rage moment that they regretted for the rest of their life. And then even when the orders came to evacuate, she still was hoping to see her daughter again.
How do you do?
You'll never guess what happened. Nia points to the lighthouse. I was keeping an eye out for you, and who strolls down the dock but Merewith herself? You should have seen the stares she got. But she walks right into the lighthouse, never a word to anyone, and just when I'm about sure she's met some awful fate in there, she strolls right out, still saying nothing to nobody. Now I'm hearing all sorts of rumors about Merewith and the last lighthouse keeper. Shakes her head. I don't know what to believe, but everyone else around here is convinced the place is safe again. I've even got a construction crew ready to start work. Wow, you work fast. Like, I basically followed her here. Some fast labor. 5,600 experience overall. Damn. Takes a deep breath, a big, contented smile on her face. And I know I've got you to thank. Here. This is for you. Come back when the renovations are done. I've got big plans for this place. Well, that'll do nicely for today. Is it time for story time? This is probably a good time to go into the animancy. Animancy in the modern age. Animancy is a science both respected and reviled, sometimes by the same person. For all the research done on the topic, we still know so little. Control over life itself, something animancers have been working toward for hundreds of years. There are no real records of how the practice of animancy was first discovered, but once the spark of knowledge ignited, there was no stopping its inevitable discoveries. In 2260 AI, animancers, as a result of their extensive research, successfully contained and transferred a soul. The subject of the experiment, whose name was unknown, was young and wealthy, but infirm. The idea was to move his soul from the dying body and into a recently deceased man who had suffered an accident. The new body, bearing only slight decay, would house the soul, giving the man a much better life. The outcome of this experiment resulted in the condemnation and outlaw of animancy in the Adirian Empire. Again, while we have no true records of what happened, as they were all destroyed after animancy was outlawed, a journal was discovered, a makeshift confession by one of the participants. Excerpts from the journal follow. It is done, and the gods forgive us for our arrogance. I am not sure what I was expecting. Certainly not that. But what did any of us expect? Still, behind the revulsion there is a sense of pride, something I can't deny. All the research, the studying, everything we worked for. We thought we'd change the world. How it's changed. All was in place. The twisted form lying on the table next to its new vessel. The equipment had been prepared. The tinctures and potions all carefully crafted. Every detail painstakingly organized to ensure success. We most assuredly succeeded. The procedure went exactly as it should. The soul, extracted from the old body, held, bound in place to prevent it from moving on. Then the next step, transferred to the fresh vessel. It was beautiful and terrifying. I listened as they spoke the words of binding. I watched the soul move. Not the soul itself, of course, but the vapor we used to detect it, as it lowered into the vessel. A gentle luminescence covered the body, and then nothing. Silence. Darkness. I held my breath, afraid that even the slightest disturbance would destroy all our hard work. Then motion. Then, dear gods. Then, blood. How did I survive? I do not know. The vessel rose from the slab, and the room breathed. Every person crowded around the tables exhaled. Some cheered. We had made life from death. We had become eternal. The body closed its eyes and tilted its head, looking for all purposes to be listening for something, or to it. Then its eyes popped open and it moved. Its lips peeled back from its teeth in a horrible expression of fury. It fell on the nearest man, tearing his throat, knocking him to the ground. Then the room erupted into screams, shouts, and a flurry of bodies running, pushing, doing everything in their power to get away from the creature sitting on their colleague. But right before that happened, in the split second before the chaos, when there was nothing in the air but a stunned, terrified silence, I heard it, sitting there on his chest, face at his neck, beating. Well, what a beautiful and uplifting and encouraging take on animancy. Can't wait to see what they managed to do next. That was a long time ago. Like a long time ago. Like a long time ago. Yeah, because it's 2260. Was it a long time ago? I misread the day as the year for a minute there. 2260. Yeah. That was 600 years ago.
Yeah.
They've probably figured some things out since then. That's well before the time of even the guy that's contained inside the statue, I think. Alright. Before long, I'm sure I'll be encountering the hearing, and we'll get to hear all the ugliness of their opinions out and about. Not to mention whatever we have to deal with Heritage Hill still, which is probably completely overrun. As far as, well, not probably. As far as we heard, yes.